All right. Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock and time for our Future Friday. We have Proud Fathers Foundation, Devon Johnson, the founder, with us here today, this Friday, to share with us some more about his nonprofit. Before we get started, we're going to go over the usual community guidelines. It's a safe community, safe area, safe zone for us to get to know about anyone's business, nonprofit, side hustle, creative outlet, and it's a respectful space. So please be respectful while engaging and giving comments or questions to anybody who comes and gets featured on the show. And with that being said, this is still one of the homecoming features from Sandusky. So, Proud Fathers Foundation provides services to fathers to promote the bond, but I don't think I'm going to do it any justice. So, I'm going to go ahead and kick it to you so that you can share with our audience what it is you do.
Okay. Proud Fathers Foundation. Basically, we're a nonprofit that pretty much focuses on promoting the positive involvement with fathers in their children's lives. We're also pretty much educating fathers on becoming better. We're helping fathers to fight for visitation rights, just pretty much get everything together and really support fathers in an area where society really don't show that type of support to fathers, you know.
Okay, so you're providing a lot of resources, especially when you talk about going up against a system for custody and things like that. So
Yeah,
a lot of people
absolutely.
probably don't go through that process because they don't feel supported or don't have enough support to make it through the full process. Because I'm sure that can be lengthy, right?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. It is. And we're still working out the kinks with that as far as dealing with like a legal team and, having access to an actual lawyer on hand. But within the group that I have a private Facebook page and a public page, and then also I have members on my board, and we all, pretty much network within our own resources to provide whatever information we can to fathers that's dealing with, whatever legal battles there is. So it's just basically like a brotherhood that we lean on each other at this point to pretty much hold each other up and, like I said, encourage each other to be better fathers and, be more active in our children's lives.
Okay, so and I just want to throw this out there. You're not just like saying this because this is something that you've researched. This is something you live. You're a father yourself, right?
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely. I have a 10-year old, I have a 5-year old, and as of Sunday, I have a 1-year old. So yeah, I've been a father for a little while. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I've been through the system. With my 10-year old, he's not by my wife. He's by my ex who lives in Cleveland, and we still go through our issues with as far as making sure everything is done correctly. And like I said, I've been through the system with child support. I've dealt with the custody battles and all of that stuff. So I understand the struggle. I understand how difficult and frustrating it can be for a father, and also not knowing how to fight or even how to begin the fight. I understand how defeating it can feel as a father when you don't have the proper resources or even like the proper encouragement. So I wanted to start something to encourage guys because I see a lot of guys that really want to be in their children's lives, but they allow, what the mom may have said or what someone else have said that the system supposedly have said, and instead of them actually doing the research themselves, they just accept it, and then they get labeled a deadbeat, and it causes a lot of issues within a man that we don't really express. When you really get into a deeper aspect of it, it can cause depression, it can cause other issues within the man himself, and it just makes him feel less of a man if he can't properly be the right father that he should be. So I just
I
want to
think
support
you
guys in that aspect.
we
Yes,
do touch on that piece because at the end of the day, there's not a lot of resource or support, and there's multiple areas. Mental health always matters in a lot of things. So,
absolutely.
you mentioned the things that the mom may say, false evidence appearing real. If they believe what the mom says or what someone's told them that's not true, then they're
Yeah,
not getting the information to fight that system.
absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, that's where we come in at. We try to support as much as we can, and do research on different aspects as far as like I said, with that fight or just just trying to pretty much hold activities to encourage that type of positive fatherhood involvement, because it's a great feeling when you can actually be a father and actually, have fun with your children and do something positive in the community at the same time. So that's one thing that we've been also doing.
Yes, positive in the community. Um, let's talk a little bit about the fact that you have a nonprofit. So running a nonprofit or a 501c3, for people who don't necessarily maybe know what a nonprofit is, it's not an easy task. It's nothing small at all.
No, not at
What
all.
helped you decide to go the route of a nonprofit? Because not everyone will do
Well, I've always had a passion for for being a father and just being in my children's lives. Like I said, after dealing with the things that I've dealt with my oldest son, and dealing with his mom in the courts, and me living in Sandusky, she's living in Cleveland, and I have to travel back and forth to Cuyahoga County to go to court just to tell them, oh, we continued it, or some a 10-minute court date would turn into I have to call off of work. I have to drive all the way up there, and I understand how draining it can be. How hard it can be. So I wanted to do something to help, but I didn't want to charge per se for a service. That something I feel like um, my whole purpose is to help. It's not to make money. I didn't start this to get any type of profit off of it. I just wanted to encourage guys to become better and kind of motivate them to fight like I fought, and also, like I said, it was pretty much like I came to a decision where I, I have a day job. I work at a factory out here in Sandusky. It's a Ventura. We supply parts for Ford or whatever, and I really wasn't like I didn't like my job at the time, and I'm like, I really want to get out of here. I've always had entrepreneur spirit, and I didn't want to start a business that I would end up disliking in the future. So I just kind of like did some soul searching, did some research on some things that I know I'm pretty good at and that I'm comfortable with doing, that I wouldn't feel like would feel like work on a daily basis. So like I said, I looked at that, and a lot of guys that I talked to would come to me for advice on different fatherhood issues, and even women would come to me and ask me like, can you talk to my son? He just had a baby and da 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 da, or can you talk to my baby dad? I don't know if you can help him out or whatever. Try to encourage him to be a father like you. You're such a good father, and it's like, okay, I hear all these compliments and whatnot, and I can offer some advice, but I can't charge anybody for giving them advice on something that they pretty much naturally should be able to be doing anyway. So I talked to a couple of people that I know, as far as like entrepreneurs and whatnot, and one guy pretty much gave me pretty much asked me a question, was like, do you wanna make money, or do you want to do God's work? And it kind of sat with me for a minute, and I'm like, well, I mean, of course, the ultimate goal is to make money, if I want to get out of here, but I'm not looking to make money off of something that I feel like I just want to help. So we came to the conclusion that, he's like, you want to do God's work, and the route that you want to take the nonprofit route, and you would basically start your 501c3 process and go into it like that, as far as not charging people for a service or whatever, and pretty much just offering help, kind of like a church would do. So, I mean, like I said, and that's pretty much the route that I went, and it's been a long road, but I'm
that.
here. I'm here. It's work, but
Work is needed. I'm sure just a quick question we're getting beforehand that just showed you what need there was. I'm glad you're there to fill that and help out with other people doing this too.
yes, absolutely.
So I've heard you speak a little to there's a passion and that your experience as a father, things that you've done leading up to this. Is there anything that like education or experience otherwise that you would want to share with us that kind of feeds into your passion, what you do? Like I've seen some of the events that you always put on to like foster those relationships and things. You want to share with us some about that?
As far as like any extended education, no, I just experience, and that pretty much has been what has helped me so far, is just being able to relate to other fathers that are going through something I've been through, or that have been through what I've been through, and even I myself, I get advice from guys when sometimes they come to me for, just to vent and just to get some things off their chest. So I get it. I'm informed by some things that they tell me. So I don't know everything. That's why I said I'm not an expert, but I just have a passion to help fathers, and I want to change the way society views us. So, um, as far as like events goes, I, I I get with my team and we brainstorm on the need of the community, and we try to mix the need of the community with something fun and engaging with the children and fathers at the same time. So it's really no science to it. It's just pretty much just throwing ideas out there and what sounds the best and what sounds the most fun. We kind of go with it. Kind of been limited with COVID-19 and the restrictions and everything in the county, but for the most part, it's we've been working around that, and uh, so far it's been pretty decent. I can't complain.
Sounds like creativity will be key kind of moving forward with all these new COVID restrictions and guidelines.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Wishing you the best with that.
Thank you.
Um, it sounds like you're passionate about fatherhood, and anything that you're going to be successful with, you have to be passionate about. You mentioned something earlier about having a purpose, and it being God driven. Do you want to talk a little bit more about your passions and any other things that may passion wise feed into what you do with
Um,
Proud Foundation?
I honestly, I just have a passion for helping people. I want to see everybody win. If you come in contact with me in any aspect, whether I bump into you in a grocery store or I'm working next to you at work, and we hold an extended conversation, and I hear you speak of something, some issue. I don't care what it is. You can tell me like, man, I don't know how to get this here to here. Within the conversation, my mind instantly goes into how can I help? What can I do to help? Like I literally wake up every day with the question on my head, like in my head, like what can I do to help somebody today? What can I do to be of assistance to somebody today? So that really is my driving force and my passion in this business is to really help people in any aspect. It just happens to be that fathers have no help. We have no resources. We have no system that kind of can assist us in fighting the fight or even just making us better men. Um, Even with as far as like before COVID started, I was holding meetings, and guys would just come, and the meetings really didn't have no real structure to them. It was just pretty much come by, introduce yourself, and what do you expect to get out of Proud Fathers Foundation? And some of the stories that guys would just tell, it was just like, man, you would look at somebody on Facebook or in public, and you'd be thinking like, man, dude got it all the way together, but then you hear his story behind everything, and it's like, wow, I had no clue. So it's like just being able to give men space to pretty much vent and get that pressure up, get that pressure off of them, because we really don't have anywhere like that. A lot of us don't really feel comfortable going to a counselor or a psychiatrist or something like that, because the stigma of being labeled crazy or something crazy like that. But just giving them a safe place to be able to get that pressure off of them as far as being a father and or not being able to be the father that they would love to be. So, you know, um, like I said, that's pretty much like that's my passion, and that's really what's driving me to continue to do what I'm doing.
And I'm just gonna speak from a personal. I would say that's so genuine. Just I mean, basically based off of what I know about you, and then I've worked personally with your mom previously, so I
I just
know.
found out earlier today when I was telling her. She was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I know her. I know Amanda. I used to work with her." I'm like, I had no clue.
Small world.
Very small, very small.
Yes. Um, so let's move a little bit further. We'll skip past purpose. I feel like you kind of covered that. Let's talk a little bit about planning. Like if future tense, what are some of the plans coming up? And I know that you said something about COVID, but are there anything that you have in your mind that either whether it's during this time of COVID or a little bit maybe further in the future once we get free of some of this COVID restriction?
Um, as of right now, I'm planning a 1 day workshop for fathers. That I will be holding. I'm currently looking for a space to big enough to host this workshop. It'll be a 10-person workshop, well, 11-person, including myself. Um, to where we can just sit down and I can instruct them on the key components of being a 24/7 dad. I've partnered with the National Fatherhood Initiative, and they've provided me with resources and this workshop that I can put on through Proud Fathers Foundation, and it'll just pretty much make men become better fathers, and actually make us become better men. Once we go through the course itself, and I say we because I'm going to take the course myself as I'm instructing it, because it's so necessary in personal development, and also and parenting. So it talks about different aspects as how to handle your emotions, how did you grow up, your family history, up and all the way to how do you discipline your children, and what do you want to provide for your children in the future. So it's a wide range of ideas and topics that pretty much we'll cover, and hopefully we can break down some barriers and really open some people up, and get some change going within our community. So
I'll say right there alone with just making sure that everybody's keeping, up and learning. I mean, meeting people where they
yeah,
are and helping to move them further along is always just the way to do it.
absolutely.
Um, and that's really awesome. So let me ask, if you had all the funding in the world, just like my dream for fantastic, right? If you had all the funding in the world, everything that you needed to be able to move the Proud Father Foundation to the next step, or what would the next maybe few steps be if you had everything needed, like all the grant money, whatever it was, what would maybe be the next project?
My ultimate goal would be, I would love to just be a resource hub as far as legal advice, mental health advice, um, mentorship, um, be able to purchase a building to hold all of these different aspects to the business within one space, as far as like have a gym to where where you got free time, you can just go shoot some hoops with your son or your daughter or whoever, and just pretty much provide bonding time as well as information, and also connect with some of the agencies within the area as far as child support, as far as the juvenile court system, to kind of bridge the gap between the two, because a lot of fathers feel like child support is against them. A lot of fathers feel like the court system is against them, and it appears that way. But after holding some conversations with some people, that work within the court system, it's really not that way. It's just that they have a job to do, and they're provided certain information, and it's kind of difficult to really know somebody when you're only reading certain things on the paper about them without actually getting to know them personally. So I would like to be able to provide that personal relationship between the agencies and the fathers, to where it's not a battle. It's teamwork, because at the end of the day, it's all for the best interest of the child. So why would we be going against each other when we're all shooting for the same purposes, to make sure that the child is taken care of? So, yeah,
That's wonderful that you're trying to address that barrier. 'Cause I think that the things you mentioned earlier about the courts kind of seeming like that big, kind of Goliath system, that's not really what it is if you have the right information, resources, and kind of, supports on your side.
absolutely. And I would also like to adjust some of the child support laws, and not saying that some women don't need child support, or some children don't require child support, but a lot of guys that pay child support, that I feel like, as for example, for myself, I pay child support, and my son lives with me. It's just an unjust system, and because I have physical custody but not legal custody, so it's unfair, and it makes, like I said, it'll make a guy feel defeated if he don't know how to fight, or he's not financially stable enough to take care of himself and provide that child support, when it's so many different aspects to that legal aspect where it comes to custody and child support, and I would like to make it fair. I don't want to remove child support completely, because some guys, I feel like, you're not trying, you need to pay, you need to help out. But at the end of the day, the guys that are trying, the guys that are active in their children's lives, and if they can provide what's necessary for the child, or even the extra, I don't feel like they should have to pay as much as they're ordered to pay. I feel like it should be made fair on both sides. So
I
that's
mean, it
one
could
big thing.
balance that system out. It makes sense to make the money kind of commensurate with what the time or other aspects of parenting are, because there's so many aspects of
Absolutely.
parenting.
Yeah, or make it easier for us to, as fathers, to understand. Make it easier for us as fathers to be able to to get things adjusted. And like I said, that's where bridging that gap comes in, because once you start dealing with the court system and they see what type of father you are, then they start to respect you, and things the process becomes a little bit easier, versus you're just going in there like, hey, and you're already upset because they didn't took 75% of your check, and you don't work overtime, and you got bills that you got to pay, and it's like, hey, you calling them, you have an attitude, and they're already on defense because they feel like you're this guy, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if we can eliminate the negativity out of that, and allow people to be able to see the main purpose behind what the system is trying to provide and what the fathers are trying to provide, and bridge that gap, I think things will be a lot easier on both ends, and it'll work better for the children.
Great. I don't want to jump into the social media stuff yet. I'm gonna get there next. But before I do, I almost let my quote behind me slip my mind. I try to always bring something additional into any kind of discussion. But I went with James Baldwin's quote, and it's the relationship of father to son should really be reduced to biology. The whole world would be ablaze with the glory of fathers and sons. So if it was just DNA, it would be everybody. But what you all are doing is something special, and so it takes to just beyond biology to so much more. You're taking on so many aspects of how to be a father and an involved and active father. So that's really important.
Absolutely.
All right. So now let's jump a little bit into the social media. So I want to make sure that we as a community are doing what we can to support each other, whether it's nonprofits, business, doesn't really matter. So would you please share with us, do you have any social media handles, any Instagram, Facebook, anything you want people to follow? And I'll share that in the comments as well.
Yeah, I have, like I said, I have a public page. It's Proud Fathers Foundation. I have a private page that is specifically for fathers. Any guy out there that wanna join, he can search the Proud Fathers Foundation private page, and you send a request, I'll accept you in. I have a Instagram page as well. I'm not as active on Instagram because I'm like super busy, and but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But like I said, I have the Instagram page as well. I post every now and then on there, but for the most part, I'm more active on Facebook, which is the Proud Fathers page, and also my personal page as well, Devon Johnson Senior. So if somebody want to connect with me that way, they can connect with me on any of those. And if you want to send an email, it's Proud Fathers Foundation 84@gmail. If you want to make a donation, I have there's Cash App, Venmo, and also PayPal. The handles are Proud Fathers 3. They're all the same, so you can search them on either one of those sites. And if you would like to make a donation, and then also we have a PO box if if you write checks and you want to send anything or any information through the mail. It's PO Box 244 in Sandusky, Ohio 44871.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, because I want people to be able, I want definitely fathers to be able to, reach out and get support as they need it, and definitely the community too to support, so that way, they can donate, and there's additional funds to the things that you all are doing in the community, and to access to things like you said, the lawyers and legal things that are necessary to go up against the system. So
yes, absolutely. We need all the help we can get.
yes. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the community before we close out this meeting?
Um, Not really. I think I pretty much covered everything. I just, I thank everybody for any type of support, whether it's a reaction on a post, a share, a comment, or anything, or even if it's just a word of mouth, conversation to somebody like, hey, I've heard about this group and or this business and whatnot. Any advice and all that. I appreciate everything, all the help that we've received and all the support. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be sharing word of mouth. We'll be working on community, get some donations together, and definitely look forward to seeing more from you all in the future. Definitely feel to reach back out if you need to for anything marketing wise, because doing the most media will support however we can, and we'll be sharing those statuses.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Good. Have it. Or thank you. Good afternoon.
All right, thanks, you too.
All right.